Beside the Palm, episode 4. It's exciting.
I know you did that. You did that so well.
I know. I should get a raise. Okay, well, we're joined with a very special guest today for our 4th episode of Beside the Palm. We have Grace Roman, who is the Associate Director of Music and Fine Arts at St. Luke's. She's also the producer and director of Beside the Palm. And for those of you who are slow on the uptake, she happens to be my wife. So there's that. So welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here. I'm like weirdly a little nervous about today.
Well, so let's start right out. So tell people what you do at St. Luke's for anyone who might not know what you do behind the scenes a lot of the time.
Sure. So I kind of like to describe my role as a bit of kind of being like the operations manager behind the music and fine arts team. So I handle a lot of the administrative side of things in terms of doing all that admin background for our adult choirs, as well as our youth choir, Pure Sound. And I also, in addition to doing all of that, I'm also a staff singer. So I sing in the chancel choir and St. Cecilia Women's Choir and Credo, our small chamber ensemble. And I also teach private voice at Bridges Academy of Music. So
yeah. You're not one to normally say you're bored, so.
No, not exactly.
This is weird. This feels weird to me too. Like, I know all the answers to these questions, so why am I interviewing you? So tell people how you came to be at St. Luke's, because that's sort of an interesting story too.
Sure. So, people might not know this either. You got a job down in Houston right after we graduated at another church here, and graduated from grad school, and we were living up in New Jersey. And about 6 months after you moved down here, we got engaged. And so then I thought, I surely now need to be in Houston. And so I moved down to Houston in May of 2017, and got a job. I worked originally when I came down here for the Houston Chamber Choir, and which was great, and it was a wonderful place to be for a while. And then I felt like I kind of was looking to do something else, and it just happened that there was an opening for the Associate Director of Music and Fine Arts position here, which I took over for BB Bamberg, and it was just really fortuitous timing. And you had it was like 6 months after you started, because you started in June. And then and it was one of those interesting things where Sid had asked if I would ever want to work at St. Luke's, and then just like a week after he asked you that, the job just happened to become available, which was just the best. And I've been in this role for a little over a year now, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Finally found a safe space, and then you had to come and take that from me too.
It's so kind. My loving husband, yes.
Beside the Palm, episode 4, otherwise known as Jim Walks a Fine Line.
Haven't you already been doing that already?
Yeah.
All the past episodes.
Anyway, what's your favorite thing about living in Houston, and what's your least favorite?
Oh man.
We should make it clear that Grace normally helps come up with the questions, but because of the circumstances this week, she had no involvement in that. So these are all genuine, surprised responses.
Yes, I had no idea of the questions beforehand. My most favorite thing about living in Houston, this is going to be, okay, there's two. Can I do two things? Two of my favorite things? Yeah, okay, I'm going to anyway. So the first thing,
Typical.
which is super cliche, but is the food scene here in Houston. The restaurants are amazing, and you can get any kind of food you want here, and I love food. And for people that don't know this, Jim and I love going out to eat. And we don't do it we try not to do it super often. We usually cook at home, but when we do go out to eat, as my mom likes to say, we like really go out to eat. So we'll get like appetizers, entrees, dessert, the whole drinks, the whole 9 yards. So I love the food in Houston, and then I love the music and art scene in Houston. It's incredible, and I think it's actually very it's kind of under the radar. I don't think a lot of people realize what an impressive, especially classical music scene we have in Houston. Not only is there Houston Great Opera and the ballet and
St. Luke's.
And the symphony. What?
And St. Luke's.
And St. Luke's, yes. I mean, not only do we have those things, there's a ton of small arts organizations here in Houston as well that are really impressive and put out amazing programs. So. And then my least favorite thing about Houston, which is probably everyone's least favorite thing, is the traffic in Houston. The traffic is pretty rough sometimes, and we are very fortunate to live really close to our work, which I don't think will always be the case, but
will be as long as I can help it.
It is very nice to live so close because the traffic can get pretty brutal.
Yes, but not so bad anymore.
Not right now.
So tell us, so you're in Houston now, but tell us how you got here. Where'd you grow up? Kind of what was your path that led to Houston?
Yeah, I grew up a lot of places. I was born in Dallas, Texas, and lived there till I was 3. And then our family moved to Corvallis, Oregon, and we lived there for 7 years. And then we moved to a suburb outside of Chicago, Wheaton, and lived there for 3 years. And then we moved to Florida. So we kind of made a loop around the country. And I lived in Florida for quite a while, from ages 13 to 22, 3, something like that. And I went to middle school, high school down in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale, and then went to University of Florida for my undergrad. Go Gators. I have to do my one Gator plug. And then I went to graduate school up in Princeton, New Jersey at Westminster Choir College, which is where I met you. And then, what?
I said your dad was not military, because I know people will be wondering that.
That's true. No, he was not military. It was just a change of jobs for him that moved us around.
So what did you go to school for?
I got my undergraduate degree in music education, and then realized that I really, teaching in public schools was not exactly where I wanted to be. And then I got my master's in voice performance and pedagogy, and had dreams of being a professional opera singer for quite a while.
But even before music, didn't you start to go to school for something else?
For yeah.
A week?
Yes. I thought for a second that I wanted to be a doctor, and I took a chemistry class also my first semester, and was just like the first week of school, and was like, oh my gosh, this is this is not for me. And also realized that I don't like biology, and that was something I learned in high school. So it's like, that's probably not conducive to being a doctor. But I was able to, UF was great because they allowed me to audition for their music school my first week of school. So I auditioned my first week. I went to all my classes I had already signed up for. I got into music school, and then my new advisor promptly like dropped all my classes and signed me up for all new ones. So I missed the first week of music school. I missed my first week of classes, but
it's probably just learning how to read key signatures and stuff. And I think you knew that by then.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
So you've gone to school at Westminster, which is where we met. What were your first thoughts when you met me?
Oh, I still remember where I was. It was orientation week, and all the grad students were going around and discovering different things in Princeton. And that day happened to be ice cream day, because Princeton has all these really great local ice cream shops. And so we were going around and like taste testing all the different ice cream shops. And that was like the one day that you decided to come to orientation, because you had already gone to Westminster for undergrad. So you were like, too cool to go to the orientation events. So I met you. I remember we were on a street corner, and I met you, and I thought you were so cool because your name was Jim, and I hadn't known any Jims in my life up to that point. So, and I was with my new roommate and now very dear best friend, Olivia, and we were just like feed off of each other's energy. And so we both just decided to say your name over and over and over again. And I think it was overwhelming for you. But no, I remember thinking you seemed really, really nice. And I remember thinking you were very quiet, and like even realizing in that moment, like, we're overwhelming him, I think. But we didn't talk much when we first met. It was us mainly saying your name over and over, and then.
No. Well, we can talk about what I thought about you guys in another episode.
Yeah. Probably much more.
Don't worry, that was a Sid question. That was not my idea.
Okay.
Total gear shift here. So tell us, what's one guilty pleasure of yours?
A guilty pleasure of mine. Oh my gosh.
I could probably tell them a million, but I won't. I'll be nice.
I mean, my first thought is immediately going to food, and saying like, what's like the worst thing that I eat, probably. This isn't like the worst thing in the world, I guess, but I love peanut butter and jelly. My like go-to snack, which shouldn't be a go-to snack because it's really not good for you, is I get saltine crackers and I'll put little dollops of peanut butter and jelly on them and just eat them. And I'll eat a lot, and they're so good, and I don't feel that bad about it.
It's not as bad as, what are the sandwiches you used to have when you were little?
Oh, I used to love these. My mom used to make me sandwiches with Miracle Whip, mayonnaise, and American cheese, yellow American cheese slices. I think they were Kraft singles, and we would call them cheese and mayonnaise sandwiches. And that was it. It was just but it was Miracle Whip and cheese.
We're looking at you, Laura. So, since we're on the topic of your favorite disgusting things now, what are your 5 favorite things?
Right now?
Right now.
Okay. My 5 favorite things right now. I did think about this question a little bit, I will have to say, because we do try to ask this at all of our interviews. Okay, one of my favorite things right now is taking walks with you around our neighborhood, and it's nice to just be able to get out with Penny to take walks. I do really like the book I'm reading right now. I'm reading a book called A Spool of Blue Thread, and it's by Anne Tyler.
You've been reading that book for like 2 years, haven't you?
It's true. I do really like it though. The being quarantined has made me like pick things back up that I haven't finished. And I had like 2 or 3 books that I'd started but not finished. So I finished one, and now I'm trying to finish this one. And I'm getting close to the end. Another thing I've been doing, I've kind of picked up as a daily habit, is journaling. And journaling always makes me just feel better because you just kind of get to lay down all your thoughts on paper. And I write in my journal. I don't type it or anything, which I also like a lot. That's 3. You won't appreciate that I'm saying this, but there is a local shop in El Paso, Texas, where my parents live, that's called Dos Fem. And they have the most amazing earrings ever. These happen to be Dos Fem earrings that my mom got me. And but they also just do like really fun, kooky earrings, like cactus earrings, or like ones that look like margaritas, or, you know, stuff like that. So I love their stuff. So I love shopping for their earrings. And my last thing that I really like, that's my favorite thing right now. Oh, well, last night, I made my first ever cheesecake, and it is so good. So I'm very, so I love that cheesecake. That's my other favorite thing. And I'm excited that it turned out so well.
I thought about bringing a slice out here, but I was afraid it would melt.
It probably would, yeah.
What are your top 3 favorite movies, and do you have a favorite line from each?
Oh my gosh. So people who know me or know my family know that we like live in movie quotes. We just like quote movies constantly. I always say we like don't have like our own original thoughts because we just quote movies. I don't know if I could pick a top 3, but I'll pick like 3 of like
I'm being generous. I was going to just ask for a top movie, but I knew that was going to be hard, so I gave you 3.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that is
Let the record show.
So top 3 movies. I'm just thinking of the top ones that I love so much that will come off the top of my head. Singing in the Rain. It's one of my top favorite movies.
Favorite line?
Favorite line.
That might be hard if you can't think of one, but
yeah, for that one, it's hard. I mostly just think of the songs that are in it, or like the dancing and the tap dancing in it is just like, it's just like incredible. So, but I mean, now I just, okay, you answering for me now? Yes, You've Got Mail is one of my top ones. And a line from that, I mean, the scene I love so much in that is so silly. It's when Tom Hanks is going to meet Meg Ryan for the first time, and he doesn't know it's Meg Ryan, and his friend, who's played by Dave Chappelle, goes up and like sees her through the window of this cafe that they're meeting at, and she goes, is she pretty? And he goes, or he says, what does she look like? And he goes, she's very pretty. And Tom Hanks starts rattling because he's just so like, I think just like excited about all this. He starts rattling the fence in front of him, and he goes, she has to be, and does this like big thing. So that's a funny part of that movie that I just reenacted. And then my third movie, I would have to say, which is one of my movies I can watch anytime it's on, is A Few Good Men. And the line from that is, you can't handle the truth, which is said by Jack Nicholson. So good.
In the words of Mary Berry, what's your signature bake? Or do you have one?
I do have a signature bake. My signature bake is my Texas chocolate sheet cake. And that is a recipe that my mom gave me, and I think she got it from my grandmother. And it is it's a homemade chocolate cake with chocolate icing, and it is so good. It's the best chocolate cake I think that I've ever had. And I make the icing's really thin too, which I like. I don't really like super thick frosting. It's thin, and it has coffee in the icing, which I love coffee. So Yeah.
Isn't it from like some hotel in Texas or?
Yeah, it's originally from the Driscoll Hotel, which
That's
I
right.
believe is in Austin.
So we didn't really talk about this yet, but apart from your interest in music, you used to also play volleyball.
Yes, I did.
Do you miss playing volleyball? And is there ever a time at work when you want to spike the ball in someone's face?
Gosh. We're just getting into it now. So funny. Yeah, I miss playing volleyball sometimes. I miss the thing I mean, I'm very competitive, so I do miss that kind of competition. You're like, you don't say. So I miss being able to work out in like a competitive and play a game at the same time in like a competitive setting. I don't love just like working out, just like going for a jog, because I'm like, who am I trying to beat? You know? So that sounds terrible.
Yeah, you do that anyway.
So I do miss playing volleyball sometimes, and I used to play beach volleyball as well, and I do miss playing beach volleyball. That was fun and a lot harder than I thought than indoor volleyball. And do I ever want to spike a ball at someone's face? I think I would have to say no comment to that to that question.
This is another Sid question.
Okay.
Maybe we'll edit this one out. I don't know. Sid wants to know, do you really care when I go into long explanations about organ stuff, or are you just humoring me?
No, I really do care. And this was actually something that I remember when we first talked about this, when we were dating, it like even surprised you. So I was interested in the pipe organ like before I even met Jim, before I even met you, because I just find it really fascinating. There's a huge pipe organ in the chapel that we have on campus at University of Florida. And I remember going to organ demonstrations at UF and I just thought it was really neat. And I had a couple friends in the organ studio there, and I thought it was really neat learning about the organ. So
I think when you told me that, that's when you won me over.
Well, I do remember you reacting and being like, really? And being like kind of amazed that I had an interest in it before. But I really do. I mean, I will say most of the time I really enjoy it.
Keyword most.
Yeah.
Well, since we've already talked about how very competitive you are, it's time for our favorite rapid fire rounds. I had to put some more questions on here than usual because I was nervous you'd burn through them trying to beat all of our previous interviewees.
I'm ready.
Okay. So let me get my timer ready here for 1 minute. You ready? I'm expecting you to, I want answers to the majority of these.
It's a lot of pressure. Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Window or aisle seat?
Aisle.
Heels or flats?
Flats.
Cooking or baking?
Baking.
What color is your toothbrush?
Mint.
Toast or eggs?
Eggs.
Football or volleyball?
Volleyball.
Toilet paper, over or under?
Over.
Quote The Emperor's New Groove in Yzma's voice.
Pass. I don't know.
Oh, come on. Card game or board game?
Card game.
Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Fridays or Saturdays?
Fridays.
Lefty or righty?
Lefty.
Cash or credit?
Credit.
Cosmo or GNT?
G&T.
Favorite podcast?
The Rewatchables.
Rain or shine?
Rain.
Group project or work alone?
Work alone.
Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Chrome or Firefox?
Chrome. Oh! Oh my gosh, the Yzma thing got me. That's so annoying.
I thought for sure you'd have that ready to go.
Well, I love Emperor's New Groove. That's probably like number 4 on my top movie list. I got one now. I just can't think of these.
We'll go into a bonus round. Go ahead.
It's the one where she is talking about, I'll turn him into a flea, a harmless little flea. Then I'll put that flea in a box. And I'll put that box inside of another box, and I'll mail that box to myself. I won't finish the quote. There's a lot longer to that.
I was really upset you didn't get, there's one on here that says, name a crush you haven't told me about, but I guess we'll never know.
I don't even know what the answer to that would be. Probably some celebrity that you don't know.
That was a Sid one too. Okay, well, I think we've probably gone on long enough. So we'll end up with our last question, which is, what is one song or piece of music that you would want our listeners to go listen to right now?
Shoot, I should have thought about this answer, but I didn't. Well, okay, I'll do a sentimental answer. One of my all-time favorite symphonies is Mahler's Symphony No. 2, and it's long. It's about an hour long, probably. And but it was the first piece that I sang with the symphonic choir when I was in graduate school. And at Westminster Choir College, you get to sing in this big mixed choir when you're an upperclassman, and you get to go and perform with like the Philadelphia Orchestra or the New York Phil or all these big orchestras. And it was the very first symphony, or the first concert I sang with the symphonic choir, and it is so beautiful and really powerful piece of music. But it's called the Resurrection Symphony, and there's only choir in the very last movement, and the choir sings about how you will rise again, and you sing Aufstehen, which means we will rise or they will rise, and it's just gorgeous. I mean, if anything, just listen to the last movement. I think you should listen to the whole thing, but yeah, that's what I would say.
Fun fact, isn't that if you were to get a tattoo, isn't that what you'd want to get a tattoo of?
Yes, yes, exactly. I don't know where I'd get it, but yes, if I was to get a tattoo, I would get the word Aufstehen in some kind of fun script. So, because it was a very powerful memory for me, and I cried at the end. I don't even think I was able to like sing the last notes of that symphony ever. I mean, we performed it like 4 times, I think, or 3 times, and it was just one of those moments where I was like, yep, music is what I want to do. Yep. I know it for sure now. So.
Well, thanks for doing this.
You're so welcome.
This was fun and weird and interesting. But yeah, if this episode doesn't air on Friday, I hope people come looking for me.
You'll be fine. I loved all the questions. They were all really good.
So, all right. Bye.